Hi, my name is Nick Shell, and I'm the guy calling myself the free life coach. Now, of course, I'm not a professional. I have no license or degree in psychology. But in my 35 years, I feel that I've gained enough life experience and emotional intelligence to be able to help other people that I wish people would have told me this when I was younger. So I want to introduce you to a simple concept today, and that is people treat each other based on how they see themselves. So let's talk about that. The best way to really get into this is by talking about my son. And he's in kindergarten, and there's this one girl, can't even remember her name, but she is always, I guess, mean to all the other kids. So we've been hearing about this for a month or so, and so finally last night I asked my son. I said, "Well, let me ask you, does she have any friends? Who are her friends?" And then he thought about it, and he said, "Well, she doesn't have any." And I said, "Okay, well, that's the problem. The reason she treats everybody this way, she doesn't know how to have friends. She doesn't have peace in her life like you do. You feel sure of yourself, you're confident, you know that you're loved. I don't know that we can say the same for her. We don't know how things are for her at home, whether she has parents that love her and tell her that and show her that and treat her that way. So it would make sense that she would come to school and treat other people the same way. She has that lack of love, that lack of peace in her life. So how is she going to have other friends? How is she going to communicate? How is she going to interact with other people if she doesn't know how to do that to begin with based on what she sees at home?" Now, I could be wrong about my theory, but it was one thing when I heard that she was mean to the other kids, but when I heard that she didn't have friends, I said, that's the thing. The only way she's going to learn, apparently, how to be nice is by you showing her. So if you treat her the way she's treating you, you're only reinforcing the fact that that broken system of how you treat people is to be mean to them. So I talked to him about that yesterday. And that's a talk I had with my son, who is almost 6 years old. So imagine you're an adult watching this, or at least in high school, you're watching this video. And man, does this apply to you? It sure does, It's like you look around you, you see people who are, we can call them bullies, we can call them rude, hard to deal with, hard to work with, hard to live with. We can call them all these things. But a little secret that I'm going to tell you, and you can't let this person know that you know this about them, okay? You got to make me that promise. That person who is that way, they don't have peace in their life. They don't have peace right here, okay? I have peace in my life. I know what that feels like. But people who are that way, they don't. People who are constantly rude or sarcastic or pessimistic or negative, people who seem to have sort of almost not almost, definitely a victim mentality, that there's never enough for them, or they'll always be the person that gets left out. People who have that victim mentality, it's not going to get better for them until they realize what the problem is, and that is that they haven't learned how to be victorious. They haven't learned how to compliment others. They don't understand, instead of criticizing, why don't you compliment? Instead of not having a goal because you're always the victim, why don't you start developing plans and goals for your life, things like that. So think about this in your real life. There's always going to be people who are hard to deal with or hard to get along with. Just keep in mind, they don't have the amount of peace that you have in your life. So what can you do about that? Not a whole lot. You can't necessarily say, "Hey, let's have a talk about how you don't have peace in your life. What's going on in your life that makes you this way?" You can't do that. I mean, not without a true solid friendship to begin with. But that's where it all starts with, right? Is loving our neighbors as ourselves. And these people are hard to love. They're hard to deal with. But maybe, if anything, it helps knowing, for you, it helps knowing that you've got something they don't, and that's peace, right? Because you're not the one known in your society as the hard to deal with person. They are. Everyone talks behind them back as that kind of person. So remember, people treat each other based on how much they love and respect themselves, right? I mean, how can you love anybody if you can't love yourself? And you've heard that many times in your life, all right? So that's what you need to know. They're broken people. They're hurting. And just like my son's classmate at school, chances are she doesn't know love the way that my son knows love. My son is loved. He knows that he and my wife love him. He knows that his sister love him. He knows that. He never has to ask. We verbalize it. We show it through physical affection. We show it through so many ways. There's no doubt in his mind that he is loved. The girl in his class, Most likely not the case. I don't know her. I don't even know her name. I don't even know what she looks like. But just based on what he comes home and tells me, I don't think that she has what he has. So chances are the people who are hard to deal with in your life, they're only treating other people based on how much they love and respect themselves. So obviously it all begins here with you having that inner peace in your life. And just remember, are you the person that's complimenting others, or are you the person that's criticizing others? Are you the person who just is always the victim and just never has a plan, or are you the person who has a plan for your life and you set goals and you base it on those things? You're able to find, not necessarily just always being superficially positive, but being realistic and having those goals. So if you feel yourself getting hurt, because of the last, and I'm about to end this video, but the last video I did on Free Life Coach, I talked about how the importance of taking power away from people who offend you and hurt you, right? Because a lot of the times we do that. We give power to other people to offend us, right? Well, what if we take that power away by saying, self, I'm not going to let that other person control my emotions, right? So, and what I'm getting at is this, is that people who don't have that sort of inner peace typically are the people that are going to kind of be more likely to hurt your feelings. Well, step number one, don't let them hurt your feelings. Don't give them don't give them power over your emotions. You know, I mean, if someone said, Nick, you're ugly. Okay. That means nothing to me. I could care less if they said that. When some people try to insult you, or even don't try to, but they do anyway, sometimes it may hold more weight than others. But if you can change that scale to where they don't offend you at all, then now you've got power over your own life. Okay. So here's the closing point. So at the same token, those people who don't have inner peace in their life, and they're rude, or they're mean, they're selfish, they're sarcastic all the time to others, that are hard to deal with, right? If you already know, first of all, that you're not going to allow them to offend you or hurt you, you're taking their power away over your life, right? And now it makes it that much easier for you to interact with them in a more loving way, because there's no possible way they can offend or hurt you. You've taken that power away internally in here, right? So how are they going to offend you? It's going to be that much easier to love and support that person who has less love and inner peace in their life compared to you. My name is Nick Shell. I'm not a professional. I'm just a regular guy. But I call myself the Free Life Coach.